Hello everyone, you're most welcome once again. The session of today is about dough hydration. What do you understand when we say dough hydration? Maybe you are producing breads, but you still don't understand what is a dough hydration. You are using water, you are using flour, but you don't know what you are doing until you understand the dough hydration. So today, I'm about to teach you about dough hydration so that you can know when you are using this amount of water with this amount of flour, you understand the percentage of hydration you are using. So stay tuned, stay curious. Let's explore dough hydration. So dough hydration means a percentage of water compared to flour by weight. A percentage of water compared to flour by weight. So when you are producing a bread, you always use a certain amount of water with a certain amount of flour. If it's the case, let's see example to understand everything clearly. So for example, here they say you are using 500 grams of flour plus 250 grams of water. At this time, the dough hydration is 50% because water is a half of flour. That is 50%. Remember, in the definition, you have seen that dough hydration is the percentage of water compared to flour by weight. So, other baker might be using 500 grams of flour plus 400 grams of water, and this will be equal to 80% hydration. As here, other bakers are just using 500 grams of flour plus 500 grams of water, which is 100%. It means here on the last example, the amount of flour is equal to the amount of water by percent. So the dough will hydrate 100%. It means this dough has too much water, too much hydration. So here they say that the higher hydration results in stickier dough, but lower hydration results in stiff dough which is hard to mix. There is small amount of water in this lower hydration, so as a result the dough will be too tough. It will be too hard to mix because there is not enough water in the dough. Here they are asking, why does hydration matter? Why does hydration matter? Why is it that hydration is important? When we say, why does hydration matter, it means, is it good to consider dough hydration? Yes, it is good to consider dough hydration because hydration affects the result. Here they say, because hydration affects dough texture, it also affects crumb structure as well as handling techniques. Let's start one by one about the hydration effect to the dough. You know that texture is how something feels in hand, something feels in touch, and how it appears in eyes. That is a texture. How something feels and how it appears in eyes. That is texture. When it comes to crumb structure, hydration contributes to the structure of the interior part of bread. Some bread will have open crumb, other will have closed crumb, depending on the hydration level. So it will also affect handling. As the dough has higher hydration, as the dough has higher amount of water, dough will be stickier. It will spread during handling. It will lack shape. Here, dough doesn't have a shape. For example, we are using the same amount of flour with the same amount of water. By this time, the will spread on work surface during dough handling. So that's why dough hydration matter. So I want you to look closely to this. Here they say lower hydration results in stiff dough, which is hard to mix. Exactly. As long as the dough has small amount of water, small quantity of water, it will result in stiff dough, dough which is very hard to mix. Dough is very tough. There is small amount of water which will result in stiffness of dough. As a result, the dough will be very hard to mix. When it comes to higher hydration, they say it results in open crumb and tricky to manage. If you are not an expert in dough handling, you are not going to be able to handle this dough with higher hydration, because it requires extra skills so to manage or to handle. So I want to hear from you guys. Apart from this, did you know what is hydration, or you are just following a recipe blindly? I want you to answer in the comment section. So let's continue. We're asking ourselves that, does hydration matter? We have seen that hydration matters most because it will affect different aspects as we've seen. So here they say flour type can change the result. Yes, exactly. Because look close to this. Same hydration, different flour, different result. Yes, you are using the same amount of water but in different types of flour. For example, one is using bread flour, other is using all-purpose flour. Both are going to use like 50% hydration. They are going to use 250 grams of water in 500 grams of flour. As they are using different types of flour, the result will not be the same. The result, the dough texture will not be the same because some flour absorb more than others. Like here they say, bread flour absorb water more than all-purpose flour. So water absorption depends on gluten content. This bread flour has more gluten content comparing to this all-purpose flour. So that's why this bread flour absorbs more water than this all-purpose flour. I hope you get this. So whole wheat flour is more thirsty flour exists. Yes, because when it comes to gluten content, this whole wheat flour is giant. It has more gluten content comparing to the rest of all flours. So look at this. Look close to this caution. Water absorption depends on gluten content. Like I said, water absorption depends on gluten content. Higher gluten content, higher hydration. Low gluten content, low hydration. Like here, high gluten content, higher hydration. So when it comes to flour with gluten content, we can say bread flour and whole wheat flour are those type of flour which has more gluten content comparing to this all-purpose flour. This all-purpose flour is very weak in water absorption because of gluten content. So low gluten equal to lower hydration. Example of flour is all-purpose flour. I hope you get this on different types of flour. How type of flour can affect dough texture. How type of flour can hydrate. Higher gluten content, higher hydration. As simple as that. So let's continue.